I'm so excited to introduce you to a nonprofit called Global Genes. They are an amazing organization connecting the rare disease community and creating opportunities and spaces where we can learn from each other and find answers. Today, I have Mary on with us, who's going to share all the incredible resources that Global Genes can offer our 22Q community, whether it's speaking to medical professionals in the field or sharing your story on their website. I'm so honored to introduce you to Mary. Welcome to the 22Q podcast. My name is Becky White, and today is a little bit different of an episode. I was able to contact Global Genes to see if they would be interested in having someone on the podcast to share all the incredible opportunities and resources that they can provide for families. And Global Gene is a global nonprofit advocacy organization for individuals and families fighting rare and genetic diseases. This organization is associated with the Blue Denim Genes ribbon that is intended to raise awareness of patients affected by rare and genetic diseases. And today, I am so honored to have Mary with us. Mary is the Rare Concierge Patient Services Manager, and she is here today to share all of the amazing resources and programs that Global Genes offers to families like the 22Q community. So Mary, thank you so much for being on today. And please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Becky. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity and myself the opportunity to share what it is that I do and what Global Genes does. A little bit about me. I live in Maryland. I have 2 adult children, and I'm also a patient. I have cardiac sarcoidosis, which is an inflammatory disease that can affect any system in the body. With that, I am mostly cardiac, and I was diagnosed in 2014 after a typical 7-year diagnostic odyssey.
Wow.
Yeah, and actually my diagnosis ended up saving my life.
Wow. Once you got that diagnosis, what was that like for you?
It was amazing and scary at the same time, because they said you have sarcoidosis, and I did that. What is that word? I've never heard of it before. I don't understand. And at the time, I was critically ill. My heart was failing. I was meeting with heart transplant doctors. I was wearing an external defibrillator vest. I was at a terrified point in my life. And when I got the diagnosis, it was, okay, now what? It gave me something to hold on to be able to learn from. And with that diagnosis, I got a upgrade from my pacemaker to a pacemaker defibrillator. That diagnosis ended up saving my life, because 6 months later, I had a cardiac arrest in my kitchen. Had it not been for the diagnosis, I would not have gotten the upgrade to the defibrillator, and I would have died in my kitchen that day with my 15-year-old daughter with me.
Wow. I have
I know.
chills. Oh my goodness. So your finding out your diagnosis was huge in your story and in your journey. And how are you doing now?
Now I am doing really well, actually. After spending a good chunk of time being significantly ill, I've been able to improve my overall health, but it's pretty good, and I'm adapting.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that. And how did your journey and your diagnosis lead you to the position you're in now at Global Genes?
That's a really good question. What I found when I was very sick, that you have a lot of time with your own thoughts, and there's a lot that goes through your mind. And I remember just thinking, if I could just survive, if I could get through this, I want to be able to do something different. I want to be able to help other people who have gone through what I have gone through. Once I had reached a more stable point, I just started learning everything I could about my disease and about rare diseases. I attended everything I could went to listen to webinars, read just as much as I could, because what I wanted to do was find some work that I could do in the rare disease space. I didn't have any experience in it other than being a patient, and I wanted to pursue that. So that's exactly what I did. I moved down to the Washington, D.C. area and just kept looking for a job. I was ready to take anything. The first job I had was working for the Every Life Foundation. And the Every Life Foundation, their focus is on policy and legislation for the rare disease community. And that was an amazing opportunity. I learned so much, met some amazing people, and began to understand how the rare disease ecosystem works. And with that, I was able to understand where I could fit in that space in the best way possible, and how I can work towards change to improve the lived experience for the rare disease community.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for them for about 2 years, and then my contract ended, and I got a job at Global Genes. Global Genes for me was really where I wanted to be and where I feel like I fit best, because it is a great entry point for the rare disease community. If you don't know anything, if you just got a diagnosis and you have no idea what to do, Global Genes was for me the place where I could connect with other patients and other communities and feel welcome and feel okay about not knowing what I'm doing. So that's one of the reasons that I love working at Global Genes, is that we provide that opportunity for people.
Mm-hmm. Which is so important when you are diagnosed with something like you had, and you do feel alone in the journey. Finding that community, finding resources is so important. And that's why I'm just thrilled to have you on today, because I honestly have been in the 22Q family for 8 years now, and I've never had heard of Global Genes before. So I'm really excited to share what you have to offer and share the resources and opportunities you have for families. And I also just want to say, on a side note, I commend you for your dedication and your love and passion for helping others, because some people that experience what you went through might not do that. And it takes a very special person to do that. So I wanted to say thank you for choosing this path and choosing to help other families, because your experience is way more valuable than someone who has, say, the highest degree possible, because in this field, it's important to feel seen and understand what these families are going through, and you do.
Thank you so much. That's very kind. And I want people to know that if they don't choose to go the path I went, that's okay,
Oh,
because
yeah, absolutely.
because I really took my own personality and my life experience and wanted to do this. And it's my passion, as you said. And I really think it's important for me to be able to give back, to pay it forward. If I can use my experiences to help somebody else on their path, then that is incredibly rewarding for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important. I totally understand that whole point of when somebody comes in and they're like, my child just got diagnosed with 22q. I don't even know what that means. And to be able to tell that person, you're going to be okay. We're going to help you. You're not alone. And I think it's really important to listen to people and connect with the people who are in those experiences. And I do think it helps that you know that I have that experience. I understand it from living it as well. So thank you for
Yes, of
that.
course.
And I'm so happy to be able to do that.
And we're happy to have you today and to extend all of the wonderful things that Global Genes can offer the 22Q community. So, in your own words, what is Global Genes as a whole? My intro is very long and intense, but what is, if someone asks you on the street, what is Global Genes? What do they do?
Well, I would say that Global Genes is a center which brings together the patient community from the rare disease world. And we bring that together in a variety of ways. We bring patient organizations, researchers, scientists, pharmaceutical, all aspects of the rare disease ecosystem. We bring that together to learn from one another and to help improve the lived experience for the rare disease community.
Mm-hmm.
And the focus that Global Genes has is really on connecting and supporting the community, educating the community, and helping to prepare people for being ready for research and to enable that research in any way possible.
Yeah. So what is your role?
My role is, as the patient services manager, is I'm the first entry point for the majority of people who reach out to Global Genes. And that entails a variety of different ways. People can reach out to us through the website, through email, phone calls, or a referral. And I listen and hear where they are and what their needs are. And then I help to provide them the support in a variety of different ways. One of them is really listening and paying attention to what their needs are, but I provide resources, information, connection to the community. If there are people who have recently been diagnosed and don't know where to go, I can connect them to the 22Q community. I can do it through the foundation, your podcast, a variety of different ways. In addition to that, I can also provide information of support that they may need. And sometimes what I can do is identify some of the information and resources that they will need that they don't even know that they need right now. I provide links to information that is external to Global Genes for connection and resources, but I also connect them to the many things that Global Genes does. And
Yeah, that's wonderful. It's so important to have that link, because when you do get the diagnosis, as a parent that got the diagnosis for my son, you feel isolated and unsure of what is next. So that is wonderful that Global Genes offers that, and that you're the first person that will be contacted when a family does reach out to you. And how can Global Genes possibly help specifically the 22Q community? What are some resources or programs that you do offer that would be specific to the 22Q community?
one of our programs that I want to share with you is the Rare Compassion Program. This is a brilliant program where it matches up patients and families with medical students. And this provides an opportunity for understanding one another so that the up and coming medical community can understand what it's like for the rare disease patients and families. It gives them the opportunity to plant that seed. So when they are progressing with their career, they have that knowledge and they have that personal experience. It also provides the opportunity for the patients, because it can be incredibly frustrating as a patient when you are diagnosed with a disease and all you care about, you're focused on what it is that you need. And it can be frustrating because it may seem like the doctors don't know what you're talking about. But there are over 10,000 rare diseases. It would be impossible for doctors and caregivers to be aware of the nuances of each individual disease. So it helps the patients and the families understand what the process is on the educational aspect for medical students.
That's great. And what are the requirements for that, and how does that work?
There's really, the requirements are, from the patient perspective, is applying. All people really need to do is apply to the program. It's on the website, and we have a cycle that they're in the middle of it right now. But if you're interested, people can go to the website, fill out the application, and be considered for the next wave or then the next session that is going to be coming up in the future. And as far as medical students, similar. It's basically, if you're interested and want to explore different areas, it's as simple as that. And then what we do is we help match people up. And usually what we try to do is provide the opportunity for people to have multiple connections within that.
Right. And is it a weekend long seminar? Is it over Zoom? How do those interactions happen?
And they can happen individually. It's usually through Zoom or phone calls. And they have a couple meetings each semester, I would put it that way, or where they interact and they have conversations and they may have specific information that they want to share. So it goes over a few months.
Oh, okay. So it's not a one-time
No.
conversation. Okay.
Yeah, it's a few months. It's a good opportunity for like them to get to know each other, dig a little deeper, get in and try to understand. And it can be focused individually of what does the patient want to communicate? What do the parents want to make sure that the medical student understands, and the medical student can ask questions, whether it is personal to their medical experience and how they see the medical community. So it can go in a lot of different directions. We provide the guidelines and the structure for these interactions to happen. When people are part of this program, they get together on their own schedule. They work on scheduling it together, and they can connect 3 to 4 times more if they want. And just a phone call, a Zoom conversation. And the structure is set up because we understand that, most people who are dealing with children or themselves with their condition, they're really busy. It's really hard to find the time in people's busy schedule.
And the
And
balance.
to balance, yep, exactly.
Yep.
To balance that out. And I know that people want to do more, and there's a priority of when you're in it, I feel like you want to be able to do something more, but all you can manage is your own life right now, and anything more is going to be the tipping point. So being aware and understanding that situation is really important on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
So it's finding that way that this interaction and these relationships can move things forward and educate one another without interfering and making it too demanding.
Right. No, it's a very good point. Especially, I know of a few parents that are those advocate parents that do want to actually talk to young medical professionals to share their experience, how traumatizing it might have been, how the bedside manner was for them, so that it doesn't repeat itself. And I do know of a few other parents that have children that are older now, may have a little bit more time, but still would love to get involved, same way you did. Just get involved, be within the community, and be sharing their experience so that other parents and families don't have to experience things that they possibly did on their journey. So that sounds like an amazing program. And if anybody is interested, you can find it on the description of this podcast or at Global Gene's website.
Previously, you just said that if patients and parents want to advocate, we can also help you with that because we have a lot of resources and toolkits on how to speak to your medical care providers and how to make sure that you have access to this information. So we try to provide information for the community to be able to advocate in many different levels, for medically, legislatively. It's sometimes people, they want to be able to be part of that change, but they're thinking, there's no way I could do that. But there is. And there's some things are simply as easy as connecting to the right organization, connecting also with your state-based organizations so that you can make changes and can be part of the change for the community. So it's really important. I feel that a lot of times when families have the experience, the rare disease experience, that a lot of your power, in a sense, gets taken away. You're so overwhelmed with the experience, and it can knock you down and it drains you. And it's really, really difficult to find the opportunities to support yourself. So by advocating, you are actually empowering yourself. You're making change for the community, but you're taking back some of your power. You're finding purpose and you're using your experience to create change. And it helps to balance out the experience. It'll never, in my opinion, completely come to a level place where it all makes sense, because it doesn't make sense. But you can find the way that you can use your experience to help yourself, your family, and others.
I can't agree with you more. It's important to have that voice and to use your experience to just raise awareness and help other families that will be coming down these journeys and these roads eventually following us. I love this program. I love the Rare Concierge program. I think it's wonderful because it gives an opportunity for patients and caregivers to ask questions. And not only that, just to get scientists, researchers, doctors, social workers thinking about what parents and caregivers need. Tell me a little bit more about the Rare Concierge program.
What we do is we provide support, we help connect, and we inform the community. Through that process, when I talk support, what I mean is that we understand what it's like for the patient community. If you don't know what you need to know, we can help provide that. And that leads into that connection. It is providing connection to our internal programs and initiatives that we have at Global Genes, but also the external ones for other organizations, whether it be just finding a foundation in your area, but we also provide this service internationally when we get people all over the world reaching out to us. And how do I connect them to resources and information that's going to help them in their process? And this might also be information about genetic testing, clinical trials, how to get financial support, how to manage disability. Are there scholarships out there for families? Whatever it happens to be, we help connect you to that information. If we don't have that information, I do the research. I'll dig in. I'll try to find information in your country, in your state. And one of the best things about it is that it's personalized. From listening to what people need, I provide the information that seems obvious, and then also really digging down and trying to understand. I'll get people who reach out to me and say something like, help, I don't know where to turn. I just got this diagnosis and my child is sick and I don't know what to do. Can you help me with financial resources? So yes, I can provide you with financial resources that may help you. But what I'll also do is say, this person is a caregiver. They could probably use some other support. So I'll give some information and resources about caregiving. Important. I don't want anyone to hit a dead end. So if you come to us, I'm going to bring you someplace additionally. I'll provide the information we have, but I'm going to make sure that you don't get a no. Sorry, can't help you. And for many in the rare disease community, it's difficult because a lot of it's uncharted territory. People haven't experienced.
Yeah.
And additionally to that, what we do is from these conversations, from these interactions, we learn a lot. What is it that the community needs? So we do use the information we gather to say, you know what? There's a lot of need for mental health. And that is an example of why our organization really listens to what's happening to the community. This year, one of our main initiatives is mental health. And that's based on the feedback we got from the community that this was a need that they have. So we have a mental health grant that is available for organizations to apply for. And at the Rare Advocate Summit that's in September, we will have information and sessions related to mental health. So we learn what the community needs. And if we do not have a robust information, we'll create toolkits, we'll create reports, we'll bring the community together to say, hey, you know what? We really need to work on this together. It's the best way that we can provide the support that the community needs.
That's wonderful, because I could tell you, I've hit many dead ends, and it's very easy to just throw your hands up and wave your white flag and say, nobody understands. I'm trying my best. I'm exhausted. I'm at my wit's end. I can't be the only parent that wants these services for my kid. And I know many people listening might also agree with me. And I think it's just so great that there is a group of people at Global Genes like yourself who are listening. That's the key, listening to people that are actually going through these challenges and finding ways to help whether it is just a toolkit, which could still be extremely helpful, or different ways to connect and get answers for these families. That's wonderful. And have there been any sort of success stories or really enriching programs that have developed through the Rare Concierge program?
Well, I would say that we're continually listening, and we do have one-offs that I absolutely love. And in the idea that I sent off this personalized response and provide this information, and it may seem routine, but there was this one person who reached out, and I gave her the information. She responded, "Wow, it's been 30 years since I was diagnosed, and I have not received any new information." And the information I provided was all brand new. She was just left alone with her disease. And in 30 years, think about how much has changed during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, at the small level, that's great. I love seeing those individuals because those are the ones that can get lost in the big picture of patient organizations and big events. So it's the individual ones, and also the information that we learned from gathering the information and talking to people about what they need.
Mm-hmm.
We've had people who had questions about genetic testing, and we provided the information for them, and they were at that point where I just give up. It doesn't matter. I have no idea. There's going to be no answers. So providing guidance to this genetic testing actually led to a diagnosis. And as we know, getting that diagnosis is huge.
Right.
It just opens up a whole new area for understanding and potential opportunities.
Yeah. And getting you connected with the right doctors, medical professionals, services that you may need. And I also wanted to mention another program that Global Genes offers, which is the Share Your Story program. Would you mind talking about that and sharing that with them, with the audience?
Absolutely. As you know, everybody has a story. Everyone has their story, and it's unique. And we provide a couple different opportunities for people to share their story. So you could write in a blog about what your experiences has been, and we can put that on the website. There's another one that's similar called Rarely Told Stories, and that is done through video, through making short movies, documentaries. And what we do is we provide the training on how to use your phone to tell your story so that people can put it on their social media, get the word out, and use that very current and active media tool to be able to tell their story. And you can use your story to tell it in a way that's not too detailed, because a lot of times what people will do is when they tell their story, it starts with, well, when I was born, and then when I was in 6th grade, which is, great story, but you want to be efficient with your words because you don't want to lose people. So we try to help people learn how to tell their story effectively and timely. You need your elevator pitch. You need you're at dinner or you're out and about and you're talking to somebody. What is the pertinent information that can move people to action, to make people care? And whether that's donate or attend an event or take part in clinical studies, whatever it happens to be, how can you tell your story to be effective?
Mm-hmm. Even through this podcast, I have had a few people on that have never shared their story before. I know that I was the same way. And once they share their story, it's nerve-wracking, it's personal, and you're not sure, especially how your family and friends may receive it. So having the courage to share your story is first and foremost so admirable and important if you're ready. And I think it's wonderful that Global Genes is offering this, because once you do share your story, it lets your community, your family, friends, coworkers know the struggles that you do go through or have gone through, and they can see and understand and have a little bit more compassion towards that certain diagnosis, whether it's 22q or something else. And I think there is power with sharing your story when you're ready. And I think it's really great that Global Genes is offering this on their website. So if anyone's interested, what are the requirements, or how can people find more information about sharing their story?
Well, again, that's another one that's on the website. Go to the website and you can fill out the form. If you want more information or more guidance on it, you can reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to help. And as you said, it's so important that people do tell their stories. And there's stigmas with, oh, you shouldn't share your medical information or your personal information. Or sometimes people think that, oh, you're just telling that story so you get attention, or that there's some negative part of it or selfish part of it. But it's really incredibly selfless to open yourself up, to be vulnerable, to telling your story so that others may possibly hear through your podcast, to be able to relate and go, oh my God, I'm not alone. And this person shared their story and I understand, and this provides me with so much comfort. There's another opportunity that I wanted to share, and that is the Rare Portal. And the Rare Portal, you connect through the website, and what it is, it's a place that's only accessible by patients and caregivers to the rare disease community. It's its own little space where people can ask questions to others in the rare disease community and have discussions and say, you know what, my wheelchair keeps breaking. Does anybody have any great ideas of how to fix this? Or, whatever it happens to be. So you can it provides a space for patients and caregivers to connect with others that's safe. And the idea that there's not industry partners there, and there's only people that really understand what it's like.
That's great. Yeah, because I know there are a few support groups, say, for example, on Facebook, and I definitely use some of them for resources, or even simple things like clothing brands at work or AFOs that they recommend. So it's so nice that they have a community on Global Genes website for everyone to connect in a safe way. That's great.
Another opportunity that I wanted to share with you, which is coming up in September, is the Rare Advocacy Summit. And that's going to be held in San Diego. I believe it's the third week of September. Don't have the dates exactly in my head, but information will be available on the website and through emails and social media. But what that is it's the biggest gathering of the patient community all coming together. There's a couple different tracks where you can learn different information about where you are in your space that applies to your experience. And it's social, and it's amazing to be surrounded by people who understand and get it. And if you're brand new, we want people to come. If you've been at it for a while, if you've been in the rare disease space and you're looking to expand of what opportunities are there, that's available to you. If you want to see your old friends, this is a great opportunity. So the summit is a phenomenal experience. It's one of those life-changing moments where it can be heartbreaking and it can be inspiring.
Yeah, if families or caregivers or anyone listening is interested, what exactly do you do at the summit? What presentations are offered? What workshops? What will they experience while they attend?
Well, every year is different because we try to listen to the community and find out what it is that they need. So I can speak on last year in that we had a full adult track where we were dealing with issues that were related to the adult experience, and whether that's relationships or research, whatever that happens to be. We've also had a caregiver track where it's providing information for the caregiver experience. So this coming year, I can't quite disclose what the tracks are going to be just yet, because that will be part of a public announcement. For sure, there will be information about mental health and adults and caregiving. And also with the merger of RareX that happened with Global Genes this year, we are going to really dig down into how do patient organizations get research ready? How can you provide your information and be part of that in a safe manner? and to make sure that your information is helpful, and how can your organization really help contribute to the research that's being done.
Mm-hmm.
I also wanted to mention that we have a program within Global Genes, which is the Rare X program. And that is our research center where we're gathering information. And, it could seem intimidating, like, what am I doing with, being part of research? It's as simple as, it's like a registry in a sense, that you put in your information, it's all de-identified and it's safe. And we really work to make sure and ensure that this information is safe for people. But once you put in your information, it's in there, and then you will get surveys, questions for you to fill out. And these surveys are created by researchers. So this helps them find the population and the people that they need to do the work that they need to do. And it's centralized, and it really focuses on making sure that information is usable to provide the opportunities for people to contribute to research. Rare X program is an amazing opportunity for people who, if you're sitting at home and you've got 15 minutes, then boom, go on, do some survey questions, and you may be contacted by a researcher.
Mm-hmm.
Or you may not. That information is de-identified, and that in the sense that they'll collect that information and be able to use it.
Right. It's for researchers to just gain more information about these genetic conditions and sharing it with everyone. That's wonderful. Is there anything else I may have missed before we wrap up today?
I think it's important to talk about the idea that with rare diseases, because they are rare and there's so few people who have these individual diseases, that pulling together the community is so important. And this is for information reasons and for sharing. Beyond 22Q, there are other organizations that, or disease groups that need information, but you don't know that another disease group might have information that's helpful for you. So connecting and learning from one another. In addition, for us, we want that collaboration across the board, because there's so few of us. We really need to share information, not reinvent the wheel, and make sure that we are being efficient and effective,
mm-hmm.
and caring and sensitive to what that experience is.
Yeah. Connection is key.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, Mary, this was wonderful. And I just want to say thank you so much for being on, and continue with your passion for helping others, because it's amazing, and you're doing great work. So I can't thank you enough for being on today. And I hope and know that these resources will definitely help the 22Q community after listening to this episode. So thank you again for everything.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I love the opportunity to reach out to your community and have them reach out to us. And just know that we are there. You are not alone. We will help you. We're there for you wherever you are on your journey. And that is our mission. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. That is our mission, to be there for the community. And thank you for doing what you're doing with this podcast, because this is a great opportunity to connect with people in ways that you wouldn't be able to do physically. So you're providing a great resource and opportunity for the people of your community. And I thank you for that.
Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. Thank you again, Mary, and take care. Mary, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. And I am so excited to hopefully help a few 22Q families and connect them with Global Genes and all the incredible work you guys are doing. Thank you again. And to our 22Q community, thank you for listening and sharing and liking this podcast. When you do that, you are raising awareness about 22Q. So thank you. And if you'd like to contact me, you can reach me at 22qpodcast@gmail.com. And never forget, 22Q family, that you are not alone.